Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Flora Sage, and today is the day where I share with you a little tip or trick, a little quote, a little book that has changed my life forever. It's called Motivation Monday. And today's quote or book or tip or trick that has really helped me in my life and in my business is the saying that every expert was once a beginner. This is huge, because it's so easy for beginners of any type to look at the people that have been doing it for a long time, it meaning whatever it is, piano or coaching or video people or whatever. And it's easy for beginners to look at that person and go, wow. And then they tell themselves a story like, I'm never gonna be that good, or wow, I wish I could be that person like right now, or I wish I could be that good like right now. And when you want to skip that intermediate place, what happens is you're going to skip all the lessons that those experts gained while they were learning the craft, whatever it is that they are, an expert at. And, there's a lot of studies that prove and show that it takes about 10,000 hours of work, dedication, and consistency to become an expert at anything. And 10,000 hours typically breaks down to about 10 years of time. So with that, when I first read this article and looked at the case studies and actually kind of researched that a little more, I asked myself, okay, is what I'm doing worth doing for 10 years? Because I knew that with the studies and all this evidence that it takes about 10 years to become an expert at something, was I willing to invest 10 years of my life in this thing? And I'm like, you know what? It is. And when I started my business in 1997, it was something that I was doing anyway, like all the time anyway. It was space clearing and home organization and coaching. And when I went online, so I started my business in 1997, and when I went online in 2009, I had already been doing what I was doing for 10 years. And I shifted and morphed my business into what it is today, and it continues to evolve. But the coaching piece has always stayed. For those of you who watched my videos way back in the day, you know that I did coaching videos every single week, sometimes almost daily. And the thing that I hear the most is, oh gosh, Flora, I really want to be where you are right now. And I'm just like, no, you don't. You need those lessons. You need the highs and the lows. You need everything in between, because that's what makes an expert an expert. Okay? There's that saying that a calm ocean does not make a good sailor. What makes a good sailor is really tumultuous waters, and they start to learn the capability of their boat. They start to learn the capabilities of themselves as a master of the helm of their rig, and they learn how to maneuver it, and they learn how to work it, so that when it is smooth sailing, it's all good. But if something comes up, if a big wave comes to overturn, they know exactly which way to position the boat. They know exactly what to do. And that's what makes an expert, is someone who has been there through the highs and the lows and the shitstorms and everything in between. And so if you are building your business right now and you're an expert, if you are a new writer, a new speaker, a new coach, whatever it is that you are new at, I promise you, stick with it. It's worth the highs and the lows. It's worth the shit storms. It's worth feeling like you have no clue what the hell you're doing, but you're still guided to do it, And all of a sudden, one day, you start to go, wow, you know what? I think I really know what the hell I'm doing. And you start to see your clients get results, and you start to see all of these shifts and all of these aha moments start to happen, and then you're like, wow, you know what? I really know what I'm doing, and wow, that was easy, and wow, before this would have really thrown me off, but now I feel really confident. I feel really good about this. And so it doesn't happen overnight, and can it happen shorter than 10 years? Sure, if you really dedicate your time. But this is something that you can't bypass becoming an expert. You can't bypass these obstacles. You can make it a lot easier for yourself if you have like a coach or a mentor, which is one of the things that I did. When I started online, I didn't have a coach or mentor because being online is much different than not being online. And so I hired a coach, and then I hired another one, and then I hired another one. And each time that I hire a new coach, it's because they're at a different level. And when I reach not the same level, but that plateau with my coach, then I get another coach that's at even a further level, that's even, or has more or greater expertise than I do. And that's the thing that I hear so often is that, well, I can't afford a coach. And in my opinion, you can't afford not to have a coach. So pretend that you want to learn how to play piano and you want to be self-taught. So you look on YouTube and you find all the videos and you get yourself a full keyboard or even a piano and you start playing and you start playing and you start playing. And there's some things that you just can't quite figure out how to do. And you're looking for it, and you're Googling it, and you're searching for it on YouTube and Venmo and all these other, and you're just like, shit, I can't figure out how to do this. Well, the beautiful thing about having a coach, or in this case, a piano teacher, is the piano teacher was, oh, yeah, I know exactly how to help this. And they work through that. I mean, they literally walk you through step by step. Years and years ago, my oldest son wanted to be in percussion. And one of the requirements for percussion was that you needed to have at least 1 year of piano. So, very like serendipitous happening was that our neighbor just happened to be a piano teacher. And we were like, oh, perfect. So he started to take piano lessons. And his very first piano lesson, the teacher, she said, okay, what piece do you want to play? And he goes, I don't know what it's called, but it goes na 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 na. And she's like, oh, for Elise. And she's like, all right, hang on. So she went and she got the music and they started. So the first half of the lesson was, okay, this is where you put your hands. These are the keys. This is how you play, a scale. And so the first half of the 1 hour lesson was scales and learning where to put your hands and all this other stuff. The next half of the lesson was measure by measure learning for Elise. So he comes home and he's like, yay, I'm gonna learn for Elise. And I'm like, wow, that's super exciting. None of us told him it was an advanced piece. We just said, rock on, go for it, okay? So he's like 3/4 of the way done with this piece, and all of a sudden it's time for his piano lesson, and he locks himself in his room. I'm like, he never did that. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's, I don't want to go to my lesson. I'm like, why not? And he goes, because it's hard. I want to give up. And I'm like, why? What? And this was all new to me because he loved practicing. He practiced every day. Willingly, we didn't have to ask him to practice. And then, like I said, come time for his lesson, he just refused to leave his room. And I said, I refuse to let you give up. It's not happening, because for the rest of your life, if something gets hard, I don't want you to learn that it's okay to give up, okay? And I said, what part is hard for you? Because you are having so much fun learning this piece. And he opens the door and he goes, right there, and he points to this one measure in the music. And I said, okay, so tell your teacher that this one little measure is really hard. Now, mind you, she's calling us saying, hey, where's Gage? It's time for his appointment. And we're like, hang on, he's coming. So I'm like, just ask her to work just with this little area. So, and I'm like, if you need help with something, all you have to do is ask. You don't have to pretend that you know it, even though it's hard or whatever. If you don't know, ask. And he's like, okay. So with what time he had left in his lesson, he and she worked on that one measure, and he got it. She was like, oh yeah, I'll exactly show you how to do this. And they worked on it and worked on it and worked on it, and then he got it. It clicked. And he's like, yes. And he came back and he was so excited, and he's like, oh my God, listen. And he played it, and I'm like, yay. And it was so cool. And then it came time for the recital, and all the students were actually lined up based on their years of time in their, lessons. But Gage was actually at the very back end. I think he was like third from the last with the advanced students because of the pieces everyone was playing. And when he actually went up there to play his piece, his music was actually upside down, which I noticed right away. I'm like, oh shit, his music's upside down. And I didn't say anything because I would be like, Gage, your music's upside down. But I was like, whatever. I turned on the camera and I watched him, and he didn't even look at his music. He just played. He just played from the heart. Now, did he bypass those 10 years of experience? No. What he did was he harnessed that level of experience, even though he was a beginner, because he had a coach, because he had someone to teach him what it looks like to work through a piece measure by measure. And that is the beautiful thing of having an expert coach or a mentor to teach you how to do those things when they get hard, but then also review the basics with you. His lessons, 50% basics, where he played like Mary Had a Little Lamb and all those other things, and then they worked on his advanced piece. So the thing about business and the thing about this whole thing that I really want to impress upon you today is to remember that it's not just about, how quickly can you get to this expert status. It's how willing are you to learn the basics and then also master that piece that you want to master in your business. So that's the thing that, I knew I had some things that I needed to learn, but I also knew that there was some things that I was actually mastering and wanted to be more masterful at. That's one of the reasons why I continue to take coaching certifications, coaching classes. I literally just took a new healing certification this past weekend, all weekend, 9 to 6, Saturday and Sunday, on the Marine Corps birthday and Veterans Day. So that's how dedicated I was to taking this class, because normally I don't take anything while, those two holidays and events go on for me. But, I love being in that student status and in that student place, because it gives me the opportunity to review the basics and review those bare bones things while I'm still mastering what I'm doing. Now, I think I'm an expert at many things, but I also know that I'm a student in others. And when you can harness that energy in your business and in your life, that's when you know that you've got it. That you know that you're gonna be successful at whatever it is that you do, because you don't have that ego place thinking, oh, I'm just gonna do it myself. I don't need help. Those experts know that it's easier to become an expert when you have that expert help, that someone that says, oh, hey, something's hard, let me help you. You know what I mean? So I hope that this helps you today. If you are struggling to create a goal or to create even a vision for yourself, I want to invite you to our 3rd annual planning party. It is December 1st at noon Central Standard Time. It's a free event. And during this event, we're actually going to be looking at your previous year, reviewing what you've done, what you haven't done, and everything in between. And we're also going to plan out your next year. We're going to plan out how you can tackle this next year in a way that feels so good and so supported and supportive, and make this your best year yet. So if you want to join us for the 3rd annual planning party, and it's gonna be a party, I want you to click the link and I want you to join me. And then once you sign up, I want you to invite 5 of your friends. Like I said, this is a free event. This is the 3rd annual planning party, and it's gonna be freaking epic. And the cool part about being in this planning party is it's not just gonna be newbies. It's gonna be people that are just getting started and people like myself who are experts. We're all gonna be there. We're all gonna be gathering together. It's gonna be freaking epic. So if you wanna join us for the 2018/19, the 3rd annual planning party, click the link, join us for this free event, December 1st at noon Central Standard Time. All right, I love you all. Mwah. Bye.